We need to develop that sincerity, that longing for reality. It's not that we have to give up all that is beautiful and nice, but we are really looking for that when we do that. Simply, finally, we look in the right direction. We look at the place where it can be found. It's in everyone. Hello, my friends. Let's talk a moment about devotion. Every religion has a very devotional aspect. What does it mean, real devotion? Many times people think when we talk about devotion, it's devotional rituals. It's an external happening. And of course, these things may help. But what does it really mean, devotion? Devotion means that we really put our sincerity, our heart and soul into something. People can be devoted to all kinds of funny things, and if they are intense about it, then they will achieve something in that direction. They will put their energy into it. But if we are putting that devotion to the essence, then it is really a very speedy, powerful way of connecting consciously with God. One can be devoted to God with form, without form, with qualities, without qualities, whatever idea one has about God. But somebody who sincerely does self-inquiry is equally devoted, for it's that sincerity, that yearning in the heart to come back home, to come back home to the essence. Deep down, we all know our true nature is joyousness, is peace, is harmony, is expansive, full of creativity and beauty. If we become aware where this is coming from, then the devotion to that is helping us to speedily open up that conscious connection. The connection is always there, but we forgot it and it's somehow buried. Somehow the interests we have built up in our growing up in this world have a bit buried that awareness where the fulfillment is really coming from. But once this is clear, then it should be easy to muster up that devotion. Still, the old habits will come, stand in the way, but if we are really longing for truth, then we will quickly recognize that, this is just disturbing and bringing the attention away from that what we are really looking for. Everybody wants to be happy deep down. Happiness then often is very superficially defined, hoping that one gets happy by accumulating all kinds of things, by having a great status in society, by so many things. But if we are observative, then we see this is not coming from there. Happiness is coming from our own essence, from the source. The sense of fulfillment is coming from our own source, our own essence, and not from anything. If we have that clear understanding, then the heart starts to open up and we really develop devotion. We need not do devotional practices. If somebody has a liking for that, if somebody has an inclination for devotional practice, they may be very helpful. Chanting, doing rituals, if it's done with a good spirit, they can be very helpful. But we can also do it totally without any of them. Just open the heart for truth, bringing in our passion. If that is there, then that awareness of being here now is opening up quickly. If that is absent, it's very difficult. So not only the devotees have devotion, but anyone who sincerely is on the path, who sincerely wants truth and not just another explanation, who sincerely longs for their own direct experience. Nisargadatta was told by his teacher, "You are not what you think you are. You are not this person. You are birthless, deathless, timeless, spaceless. You are that absolute reality." Nisargadatta was a simple man, so he didn't doubt his teacher. He had full faith in his teacher, that he is not having any benefit telling me nonsense. But that hunger was awakened in him. I want to verify it by my own experience. And so he was putting his heart and soul into that, staying in the present as good as he could, whatever he did, looking after his family, trading his business, staying in his spare time in his little room, remembering his teacher, remembering his face, remembering his instruction, helping with just focusing on that sense I am. This was true devotion. Without at least some amount of that passion for reality, it is very difficult to stay with it. People sometimes start to get spiritually interested simply because they are bored, and then they think, oh, this seems quite interesting doing a bit this, but then it's getting commonplace, then doing a bit something else, then that also gets boring again. If that passion for reality is not there, then spirituality is just another way of passing the time, another hobby. But if we want the truth, it's not a part-time occupation. We can have our part-time in our daily life where we putting the undivided attention to that, where we are practicing with concentration, but then we need to develop that sincerity, that longing for reality. It's not that we have to give up all that is beautiful and nice, but we are really looking for that when we do that. Simply, finally, we look in the right direction. We look at a place where it can be found. It's in everyone. You are that. It's the source. It's the source that makes the experience possible. If we want to be happy, if we want to find peace, if we want to be fulfilled, we have to turn the attention back home to that source with devotion. Whether we are devotional, doing devotional practices or not, doesn't matter at all. If that devotion is there we are bound to be successful. Hello, Andreas.
Hi. What can I do to develop more devotion? Because I feel I'm somehow caught up in my daily life with. I mean, I have a daily practice of meditation, and I try to come back as much as possible to the present moment. But, like for example, yesterday evening after work, I meditated for 40 minutes, but the rest of the evening I just watched TV, and I asked myself, well, why didn't I continue? And but I rarely manage. It's kind of difficult.
I mean, I'm not saying there is anything wrong with watching TV, as long as you keep it in a reasonable measure. And especially if you have been working with people and their problems, sometimes it may be very good to just relax like this a bit and put the attention in some entertaining thing. How can you develop more devotion? We are developing more devotion by looking very closely at ourselves, at our life, at what is going on, because the more we are looking alertly at ourselves, the more we see how we are creating moods, how we are creating emotions that hurt us, that pull us away from being natural, from being authentic, from being in touch with our reality. And the more we see that, the more naturally the longing comes that to be in touch more and more, and all the time if possible, and stronger and stronger. So the devotion comes with alert observation. What's going on?
Yeah, sometimes I feel it might be helpful to change the circumstances in which I live, because there are not very many people around here who are interested in spirituality and meditation, and so I always get drawn back in this kind of daily life.
I mean, it's not that change of environment is going to change everything. It's how we are dealing with the situation. And as you see that for the time being, it seems that's where you have to be. That's your place because of certain points, like looking after your uncle. Then don't resist of living there, but still you can open up to the idea that if it comes to the point that it's not more necessary, that you may change into a more harmonious place. But don't fix your attention on that and think that is the thing. As long as that is not happening, it's hopeless. It's not hopeless, no matter where you are. So make the best out of the circumstances that you are facing.
Yeah, I mean, after all, my circumstances are not so bad. It's just like, I mean, another word for devotion is earnestness, right?
Yes.
So it's more like sometimes the earnestness is missing, and I'm too much into or I feel like, what is the right balance between like feeling tired after work, because most of the times it's not so bad, my word, and needing the right balance between comfort and really maybe push yourself a little bit and try to be earnest just by mental by will force.
But the earnestness is coming from you and not from a change of place. It's not an environment, not even an ashram, that, that can produce that earnestness. It's what is coming out of you, and that earnestness comes by what I said, what is producing devotion by really keenly observing what is going on and how I am producing dissatisfaction all the time with, when it's not necessary, and learn to not do that anymore. But for that, we need to be aware of it, and that conscious effort of being aware, that is what brings about then the earnestness, the devotion. And then eventually down the road, a change of place may help. But you cannot think that you change the place and then the earnestness is there.
But it's supporting.
It can support the manifestation of it, but it still has to come from yourself.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Can we leave it at that? Okay?
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Hari Om. Hari Om.